I think, Rita, can we start? Okay. Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this Frontiers Info Day. It's really great to see you all in this session. And most of you are probably here with us in Zoom, but there might be also people watching on YouTube. So just to let you know that this session is being live streamed, and we are delighted to be with all of you. So my name is Anna, and I'm here talking about on behalf of the Frontiers Consortium. And we have the rest of the team, some of the team members here today, and I will introduce you to them shortly. And just a few rules about how the session will be going. So as I said, we're live streaming on YouTube. We will be recording this session, and we'll make the recording available for you later. So if you have any questions, you can also go back to the session or to the previous sessions. We'll do a short presentation about Frontiers, and afterwards you can ask any questions by raising your hand or posting them on the chat. Or you can, if you are following this on YouTube, you can also use the YouTube chat for questions, and we'll read them aloud here. So here are our contacts in case you have further information. And so let me introduce you to Antonio Granado. Antonio is going to talk to us about Frontiers, this science journalism in residence initiative, which is funded by the ERC, the European Research Council, which is targeted to science journalists in different stages of their career and invites them to spend a few months in research institutions contacting with frontier research. So, Antonio, may I hand over to you?
Okay. Well, I'll make a very short introduction to the project. I'm glad that all you are here, and this is then we will have some questions at the end, and Anna already explained how we will do it. So, as Anna said, this is a residency program for science journalists. The idea is to fund a residency for 3 to 5 months in a European institution that performs research, frontier research. The program will run from 2023 to 2027. This is the last call. We already had 3 calls and 3 cohorts of science journalists who have gone to science institutions. And you can find that on the website if you want to look at where the residencies were and what the fellows were doing. Frontiers is managed by a consortium, is formed by Inspire Science Israel, that is coordinating this project. Also the Center for Ethics in Science Journalism from Italy, Nova, University of Lisbon, where I belong, and also Pompeu Fabra University in Spain. These are the values of this program. So one of the most important aspect that we would like you to take attention is that we believe in ethical science reporting, and this program is to improve science reporting in Europe. It is also very important, the pillar of journalistic independence in this project. There will be no interference with your work or the end products that you will produce during your residency. And also, this is really important, this is a program focused on frontier research. So the work that you will be doing in the residency will have to have some connection with frontier research. Well, the idea when we created this program, the idea was to attribute 40 fellowships The residencies, as I told you, will be from 3 to 5 months, and you will have to spend them in a research institution of your choice. We will also be providing some training and networking. So we will have training sessions for all of you. And also we have a dedicated structure that will guide you and accompany you during all the time that you will be in this program. Um, this fourth call, as Anna already told you, is open to journalists in all career levels. So, and these are the amounts that we will attribute for each of these levels. So, early career, mid-career, and established journalists, and the grants are paid directly to you for your expenses during the residency. And the expenses are the ones that you can see here: accommodation, travel, potential taxation, and daily expenses, of course. Well, what are the criteria to be in this program? The program is open to journalists worldwide. They can be they can live in Europe or outside Europe. So this is very important. This is open not only for European journalists, but for journalists all over the world. The idea is that you produce independent journalistic content in any format. And one of the things that we ask you, and this is mandatory, you will have to commit full time during the residency. So you cannot work during your residency. The idea here is for you to take all the time and to spend all the time doing this program and learning and writing or producing documentaries, whatever you want to, about frontier science. The host institutions is a little bit different because the host institutions must be in the EU member states or Horizon Europe associated countries. They are European countries that are not members of the European Union, but they are associated. The idea is that you will have to spend your residency in somewhere in a research institution that does cutting edge research, so what we call frontier research, and the host institutions must sign a letter of commitment to support you during your residency. Well, the application goes like this. First of all, you have to select a host institution. You think about probably some of you have areas that you want to explore. You select an institution that produces frontier research in that area, and after selecting the institution, you have to contact them. They will sign a commitment letter, and then you will complete your application form. And the application form has some information about you, about the host institution, and it also has a summary of your residency project. If you can check the database of research projects and institutions that we have on our website, but of course, you can choose any institution. The institution does not need to be on our database for being eligible. The only thing that it is important is that the institution produces frontier research. So after you submit your application, we will do the evaluation. We will, in step one, we will evaluate and rank all applications according to criteria that have to do with residency, with your own work, and also with the research. And then in step two, we will do some screening about the career level, the gender, the geographic distribution of hosts, and the scientific areas covered in the project. And this is very important, this step two, because we really want to be the fellows to do diverse residencies. It would not be fair to have all fellows or a great number of fellows in the same country or in the same institution. And so also you can check the institutions where fellows have already been. It's important to understand that sometimes there are institutions that already had one or two or three fellows, but it's really important to diversify as far as possible these residencies. So this is a summary of rounds one, two, and three. We received 111 applications. We chose 24 Frontiers Fellows up to now, 10 different nationalities. 10 fellows are early career journalists, 6 are mid-career journalists, and 8 are established journalists. The host institutions that have received them are were in or are in 11 or 12 countries of the European Union, and they are on that map. The current call, this is also important. The current call will award up to 10 fellowships. This is a call for all career levels. One of the things that we felt need to do was that round four was only for early career journalists. Round three, sorry, was only for early career journalists because we had very few early career journalists. And one of the things that we noticed in the first two calls is that when you compare the applications of early and mid and established journalists, there were big differences. And so because we had very few early career reporters, we decided to do a round only for early career, and that round was round three. So, but this one, that's the one that we're talking about, is for all career levels. And this sentence that comes afterwards is really very important. This round encourages proposals covering less represented scientific fields and host institutions from countries that have received fewer residencies to date. Prospective applicants are encouraged to browse the Fellows Profiles page on the Frontiers website and explore what projects have been selected so far. I'm reading this because this is really important for this round four, because it's the last one of this program. These are the most important dates. The call, as you know, opened on the 25th of February. It will close in 10 days, 11 days to be exact. In July, then it will go through the jury. We will hope to announce the results on July 2026, and the residencies should start in the autumn of 2026. On November 2026, there will be an on-site training for the fellows that are selected, and that training will occur in Barcelona. Now it's time for your questions, and we will be very happy to hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Antonio. So before we go into the questions, let me just introduce you, the rest of the team that is here with us. So we have Joram Barzif, he's also the coordinator of the project. We have Fabio Torone and Cristina Ferrario. Both Fabio and Cristina come from SEJ, and they are also part with the Inspire of the CSO, so the office that follows the fellows during their fellowships and helps them with during their residencies. And Rita and me, we are both from Nova as Antonio, but Rita and me will be handling the questions and we'll try not to miss any. And I see we have already a question here in the chat from Oscar, and I'm just going
Sorry,
to
Anna.
read this.
Anna,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but I think that we have online also Abby from Inspire and Carolina
You're right.
from University Pompeu Fabra.
Oh, sorry, Carolina, I didn't see you coming. Sorry. So we have see here also Carolina from the University of Pompeu Fabra. Carolina, the University of Pompeu Fabra is particularly focused on training, and we also have Abby Glasser from Inspire. So now I hope I didn't miss anyone. Sorry for this. I was just going to take the first question we have on the chat. So the first question comes from Oscar, and Oscar is asking about. So he's thinking of making an application with CERN, and so he's asking if given that these scientists at CERN and at the LHC in particular have many frontier funding from have many funding from the ERC, that being at CERN with these scientists will fall under the scope of a frontier fellowship. So he just asks for confirmation that this is the case. Yoram, I don't know if you want to take this one. Yoram, we can hear you. No, you're muted, perhaps.
J'arrête. Non,
Okay.
il t'arrête. Oh.
I'll go to the next question, and while we wait to see if Yoram can take. So probably not for this particular project, but Oscar is asking about subcontracting costs, whether it's possible to budget costs for subcontracting things like video production or infographics, and so I think this would also be for Yoram. I don't know if Fabio, do you want to take this last question?
Well, concerning the budget, if it's a responsibility of Inspire, what I can say that we already received such a question, and in general terms, subcontracting is not easy to justify. So there is on the website already a general indication of what are the eligible costs. Lost income is an eligible cost per se, and so there are some costs that you are not expected to justify in detail because there is the limit depending on the age, on the career level of 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 per month, and as long as you can justify that much with other eligible costs, it is not necessary to provide details. I don't know, Yoram, if you managed to connect to your voice.
Okay, so Yoram is having a problem here with the microphone, and you're typing. I saw now. Thank you. So what he says, there is no problem with CERN and the LHC. They are eligible, so no problem there. And he was reaffirming what Fabio has said already, that the grant is mainly for living expenses. So unlike other grants for journalism, which tend to cover the expenses of the journalistic work, here the idea is really to cover the living expenses of the journalists so that they can dedicate full time to their residency. So this is the type of things we're expecting to see in the budget. So Anna, you had raised your hand right at the beginning, so I will pass the floor to, or the screen to you. Anna Henschel. Henschel.
Sorry. Yeah, I didn't know what the order was. Thank you so much for the information. I have two short questions. One, as you've said in the presentation, that the expected start of the program is this year. However, in my conversations with the research institution and the researcher, we have figured out that that there are certain times in the institution that it would make most sense to visit the research group. And we have discussed that it would make sense to do the residency in, for example, spring, summer 2027. And I was just wondering if this is possible, if I can attend the program and the trainings this year, but then do the residency in 2027 rather than starting it right away in 2026. That's my first question.
Yeah, and I'm going to pass this question, but I think the answer is going to be no, also because this program will finish in the spring of 2027. So we will have to close the whole program. So I don't think this is possible, but I don't know if Yoram or Fabio
Yeah, the
can you
detail.
just nod if it's so, if it's...
We have set a date to complete the residencies, which is the 15th of March 2027. So with a very small margin, in case of exceptional reasons, so any delay should be discussed and approved formally. Otherwise, the expected date of completion of the last residency will be March 15, 2027.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I have a second question that is more about the detail of the application. Most of my journalistic work is in German, so I need to write an English language summary for my work samples. And there's a limitation of characters named, 6,000 characters in total. And I'm wondering, is that a limitation for all summaries if I submit multiple examples of my work, or if each summary belonging to each sample of work can be up to 6,000 characters? Thank you.
Fabio, do you want to take this one? Or Christina, I don't know. Christina?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, for your works, for example, you can just give us a summary, just a brief summary in English, just for us to make sure, but it's not mandatory, let me say, because your work is in German. Okay, it's fine. And for the characters, for the summary, I think there's but let me ask all the other people here from the group. I think it's not that strict, the limitation of 6,000 characters. I mean, it's not just
but you can use for each
about the
sample.
topic. Yeah.
It's just for us not to have very extensive, not to make you also translate.
You don't
the
have
whole
to
thing.
translate,
It's
you know,
to
all
have
the...
yeah. It's more of an indication that you know what we are expecting. Okay, so we have here a question in the chat from Chiara Sabelli. So thank you for the introduction. You're welcome. The proposal should detail objective scope, societal benefits, anticipated contributions of the dissemination of research findings. And the question of Chiara is, what do you mean by anticipated contribution to the dissemination of research findings?
Well, there is no explicit need to produce any journalistic product during the residency. But if you do, you may be willing to explain all of these aspects. So if your project consists in writing something specific and you put in the project that you expect to produce articles or whatever else, then these questions apply to that journalistic product. Otherwise, you may have a different kind of proposal, and of course, the form is quite general, assuming that the projects might have some shape and some common characteristics, but you may not be focusing on disseminating research findings. It's up to your project, essentially.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Mida, I think I have skipped a few questions here with looking for the answers at the same time. So sorry, I'm going back. So there is a question here from Mida Koku saying, is it worth to apply if there is already at least one person who has done the fellowship from my country? I would say yes, but I'm going to ask.
Oh, there is no problem in case someone has already participated from your own country and got a grant. I'm sorry, I see that your microphone probably put some noise in the. Thank you. So the general rule that we are adopting. We cannot hear you, but the green seems to imply that your microphone is putting some noise in the. It's a breakup sound with no meaning that I get. So the general rule is that in each call, we cannot fund more than 2 people from the same country, more than 2 people overall. So in all the in all the career stages, 2 people in the same country.
But it's the country of the residence, right? Not the nationality of the person.
It is the country.
It's the country of the residency. So it's this. We are not talking about the country of the. So it's okay if someone from your country has applied, because what we are looking at is the country where you're doing your residency. So try to have residencies all over Europe.
In any case, we are not excluding people based on that. It's a balancing act that is requested by the rules of this project from the evaluation committee, but there is no strong rule bearing anyone because there was already someone from the same country or the same residence that got the grant in the past. Even in the same call, we may end up funding persons, even 2 journalists from countries that are already represented. So it's not a strong how can I say, hurdle. This is not a no-go zone. It is.
Okay, so Eva is asking in the application, what kind of things do you expect to see in the section impact on the communication of frontier research, and how is that different from what is described in the research proposal?
That's a good question. It is not easy to answer. In a way, the requisite, the how can I say, the very important point is finding a research project that is considered frontier research. So that you need to explain.
I think here also the impact on the communication of frontier research is also try to explain us and convince the jury members that by having this fellowship, you'll be more equipped later on also to work on these topics. And so this is the idea. This project aims to foster this connection between science journalists and frontier research. So we want to see from your perspective, how does doing this residency will contribute to this more communication of frontier science in general. So not your projects specifically, because as Fabio has said, there are no mandatory outputs, journalistic outputs that have to come out from the residency, but just in a more general.
And of course, the expectation is that you will learn during the project. So what you already know before the application might not be so deep.
Mm-hmm. So having the being with the area, being with the scientists, being in that institution, how does your whole project may contribute to this larger aim of the whole program? That's it. So the whole program has a purpose. How does your specific residence contribute to this? So now we have a question that thank you
sorry,
for this.
there is something else that Yoram wrote about the subcontracting in the chat, and he says that we need to be careful with that. It can be eligible, but it must be well justified for the purpose of the residency, and the notion that the residency is primarily for living expenses. So that maybe additionally clarifies.
Okay, so let me go back to the question. Thank you for the session. I'm a final term PhD student in chemistry from India, looking to pivot to science, journalism, and communication. So welcome for this and congratulations for that choice. But you're especially interested in earth science journalism as a career path. As I do not have prior experience in professional journalism, would I be eligible to apply? Fabio, I think...
Alas, no. We
not yet,
are,
not yet.
maybe in the next rounds, we
Yeah.
will also have the opportunity, but at this
Yeah.
point, these grants are aimed at people who are already in the profession.
Yeah.
And can
this
prove a
program is
track
aimed
record.
at science journalists, so you have to be already a science journalist to apply. You can be a younger science journalist, so you're almost there, but not quite yet. Okay, Eva is asking, so sorry, I'm going to go here to the Zoom before continuing in the chat. I have see here the hand raised from Alec. Please go ahead.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for doing this info session. I was just wondering about the country, the host country, because I noticed I've identified an institution and a researcher with a really interesting research question that I would like to work with, but the country where they are has already had program participants from Frontiers. So I'm just thinking about a couple things related to that. First off, yeah, would you discourage me from applying with a country that's already had a few fellows or a few participants? Secondly, I noticed that some participants had done dual host institutions, so they had done the program with two different host institutions. Is there anything in particular to consider in regards to applying with two host institutions or successfully doing a fellowship with two host institutions? How does that work, if it does work? And then lastly, I think I understood the site to say that Switzerland is not eligible as a country of a host institution, but I just wanted to double check that.
It is. I think that Yoram was meaning that it is eligible.
Okay.
Switzerland is eligible. And getting to your other question, again, yes, the general idea is that we want to encourage applicants to look for less visible research centers in less visible countries. But still, the evaluation will essentially start from the general quality of the proposal. So there will be a final score. And so the idea is to look for excellent proposals. So the starting point will be the score in the ranking. Then when there are similar scores, or anyway, very good proposals competing with the one that was in a country already well represented by previous participants, and maybe the competitor is willing to go to a country that is not represented, that will play an important role. And concerning the other question that you asked, the idea of splitting in two different research centers in two different countries, even the residency is feasible. It needs to be strongly justified by the project.
Okay, thank you.
I was just going to add something there. Also remember that we're also looking for different scientific areas. So maybe you are repeating the country, but then have a very different scientific topic that might be also a plus. So don't take this as a so strict, because there are many things being balanced in the.
Yeah, for sure, going in a place to cover the same topic that the previous.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to the same
place with the
institution,
same
yeah, the same
research
topic, the
area.
same institution, that will be a no. But
Yeah, but as
same
well, we are
country,
not,
different topic, maybe.
we are not discouraging anybody to apply for an institute.
Yeah, exactly. And also, you'll never know what other applications will be there, right? This is always, it also will depend on the pool of applicants. So please never discourage. do please apply. So there was a question here about the CV, but I have lost it. Wait. For the CV section, are you looking for a specific format, sentences or bullet points, or does it only matter if it fits? I think it only matters if it fits. We are not asking for any specific format. I think we've covered this one. The subcontracting is there. I would like to ask two questions. In the application form, we can only choose one host institution country. How can I include different countries in my application? I'm going to direct this one to Rita.
Yes, you can actually type two or three different host countries. So you type the first one, and then you will be able to add a second country in the field.
And then one of
but
the
let us know
researchers,
if you have any technical problems. You can also write us in the email, but you should be able to select two countries.
So the second question also from Felipe is that one of the researchers is working in two different countries, Sweden and Canada. Is it possible to include this, knowing that the researcher mainly working in Canada? I think that might be a little bit difficult, but I don't know if Fabio, because we expect the researcher to be with you while you. So the host is the institution, exactly, but if the scientist is never there and is always in Canada, that will not make a very good residency, I would say. But the host is the institution, so the institution will have to be.
I am now asking Yoram and our friends in whether Canada is an associated country as well, maybe.
Oh, that could be. He's checking. You're checking, right, Yoram? Thank you.
Looks like
or
it's
you're
checking,
writing.
yes.
The host is the institution. I agree with Anna. That's
Of
always
course,
important. Agreeing with Anna is always important in these sessions.
It is going to be expensive if it is to travel to Canada, but that might be feasible if it is. Canada is
We
only
need to check
partially
if it is relevant
associated.
for
We
the
need to check.
projects. Yeah.
So if you are, if you are willing to explore the possibility, please write to CSO, the Coordination and Support Office, with the formal request, and we will give you a formal answer concerning Canada. That said, given the previous question, of course, the expectation is that the residents, the journalists in residence, spend time with the research group, with the principal investigator, and so it needs to be in the same place. That's the full rationale for sending you there.
Thank you.
So we have also a question here from
Canada, actually.
Sorry.
Because I thought it was sorry to interrupt. I was just saying that my question was that Canada would be. I was thinking that it would not be eligible, so that was the main point. Knowing that she's working also in Sweden, if we can connect the project in the two institutions, knowing that Canada was outside, but since it could be a possibility, thank you very much for your answer.
Yeah, we'll be checking that. Yeah. But the important thing here is that the host is always the institution, so it's all the rules apply to the institutions. The rules that we are saying about countries apply to the institution. So thank you for the presentation. You're welcome. Is it possible to apply to go to an institution that is in our home country? Definitely, it is possible. So there is no limitation there. You can go. You can choose to go where it makes more sense in order for your residency to actually help you discover about frontier science and having you working side by side with scientists in that particular topic. So just go where the topic is the best. And is it possible also to apply with a focus on social sciences? Yes, definitely.
Absolutely,
the projects
yes. And
are covering all scientific
that
areas. Yes,
might
Fabio,
be,
please.
sorry, yeah. That might be exactly one of the areas that are less represented so far. So in our previous cohorts of fellows.
So again, we are not focused solely on projects funded by the ERC, but if you want to have an idea of topics of frontier science in different areas, you might take a look at some of the ERC grantees in social sciences, also to learn a little bit about the types of topics that would be possible in these residencies. I don't know. I don't have any other questions here in the chat.
Maybe,
I
Anna,
think.
just on a practical level, to complete your suggestion, on the website we have a link to the database of all ERC funded research.
Yeah, you're right. It's there.
That can help you.
Yeah, perhaps Rita can paste the. I think Rita is doing that already. Yeah, thank you.
Experts in the area and the topics
experts or topics or that can be also help. That can also help inspire.
Again,
your projects.
This is not a requirement, but no. If you find a match with someone who has an ongoing ERC project, that is most likely the way to locate and to identify frontier research. It's a proxy, to say so.
So Rita, I'm just checking with you. Do we have any questions on YouTube, or are we?
They have been answered here, so we're good on YouTube.
We're good there. Okay, thank you so much, Rita. And I don't know if there are any other questions here. I'll just wait to see if the chat wiggles or if there are hands raising. No. Okay, so if not, we'll wrap the session here. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a real pleasure talking to you about this program and starting to listen about ideas that might come from these applications. Though the word is really encouragement, do please apply. We'll select afterwards. I think application is the first step. It will be much harder to be selected if you do not apply, so please do apply. And we are genuinely looking forward to read your proposals. If anything comes up later, you can find our contact. We have placed them here in the chat, but you can also find our contacts on our website. And please do not forget to follow us on social media. We are on LinkedIn and we are on Instagram, and we are always posting things about what's happening with the fellows. So thank you again. I wish you good afternoon. Do not forget that the deadline for application is May 25th. And please, good luck preparing your applications.
Best of luck to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.